Exploring Passover, Judaism's ancient celebration of the Israelites' exodus from Egypt. This video covers the powerful biblical story, symbolic traditions, and modern observances of this significant Jewish holiday. The origins, enslavement in Egypt. According to the biblical narrative found in the book of Exodus, the Israelites, descendants of the patriarch Jacob, settled in Egypt during a severe famine. Initially welcomed by the Egyptian rulers, the Israelites prospered and grew in number. However, as generations passed, a new pharaoh rose to power, one who viewed the growing Israelite population as a threat. This pharaoh subjected the Israelites to brutal slavery, forcing them to engage in backbreaking labor, such as constructing cities and monuments for the Egyptian empire. Despite their oppression, the Israelites continued to multiply, prompting the pharaoh to issue a decree ordering the execution of all newborn Hebrew boys. The birth of Moses and the burning bush. It was during this time of intense persecution that a Hebrew woman named Jochebed gave birth to a son. Fearing for his life, she placed the infant in a basket and set him afloat on the Nile River. Entrusting his fate to God, the basket was discovered by Pharaoh's daughter, who adopted the child and named him Moses. Years later, as a young man, Moses witnessed the suffering of his people and fled Egypt after killing an Egyptian overseer who was mistreating a Hebrew slave. In the wilderness of Midian, Moses encountered a miraculous sight, a burning bush that was not consumed by the flames. It was here that God revealed himself to Moses and charged him with the task of leading the Israelites out of Egypt and into the Promised Land. The 10 plagues and the Exodus. Armed with his staff and accompanied by his brother Aaron, Moses returned to Egypt and confronted Pharaoh, demanding the release of the Israelites from slavery. When Pharaoh refused to comply, God unleashed a series of 10 devastating plagues upon Egypt, each one more powerful than the last. From turning the Nile River into blood to unleashing swarms of locusts and enveloping the land in darkness, these plagues tested Pharaoh's resolve and demonstrated the might of the God of the Israelites. The final and most devastating plague, known as the Passover, claimed the lives of all firstborn sons in Egypt, except for those in Israelite homes marked with the blood of a sacrificial lamb. On the eve of their departure, the Israelites hastily prepared unleavened bread, known as matzah, as they did not have time for the dough to rise. This act became a symbol of their hurried exodus from Egypt and is commemorated to this day during the Passover celebration. As the Israelites fled Egypt, Pharaoh once again hardened his heart and sent his army to pursue them. However, God intervened by parting the Red Sea, allowing the Israelites to cross safely while drowning the Egyptian forces. This miraculous event solidified the Israelites' faith and became a pivotal moment in their journey to the Promised Land. The significance of Passover. Passover is a celebration of freedom, resilience, and the enduring faith of the Jewish people. It serves as a powerful reminder of the trials and tribulations their ancestors faced and their unwavering determination to break free from oppression. The holiday also emphasizes the importance of passing down traditions and stories from generation to generation, ensuring that the lessons of the past are never forgotten. The Seder, a symbolic meal. The centerpiece of the Passover celebration is the Seder, a ritualistic meal held on the first 2 nights of the holiday. During the Seder, families gather around the table and retell the story of the Exodus through the reading of the Haggadah, a special text that guides the Seder ritual. The Seder plate holds symbolic foods that represent different aspects of the Exodus narrative. Matzah, the unleavened bread, symbolizing the haste of the Israelites' departure from Egypt. Maror, bitter herbs, representing the bitterness of slavery endured by the Israelites. Cheroset, a sweet paste, symbolizing the mortar used by the Israelites in their forced labor. Karpas, a vegetable, usually parsley or celery, representing the initial stages of spring and renewal. Vaitzah, a roasted egg, symbolizing the festival offering brought to the temple in ancient times. Zeroah, roasted shank bone, representing the paschal lamb sacrifice during the Exodus. Throughout the Seder, participants recite blessings, sing traditional songs, and partake in the symbolic foods, immersing themselves in the retelling of the Exodus story. The Seder also includes 4 cups of wine, each representing a different aspect of the Exodus narrative and the journey to freedom. Passover traditions and observances. In addition to the Seder, Passover is marked by a number of other traditions and observances. Number 1. Removing chametz, leavened bread. Prior to Passover, Jews engage in a thorough cleaning of their homes, removing all traces of chametz, leavened bread. This ritual symbolizes the removal of spiritual impurities and the renewal of one's commitment to living a life guided by faith and adherence to Jewish law. Number 2. The search for chametz. On the night before Passover, a ceremonial search for any remaining chametz is conducted by candlelight. Any breadcrumbs or leavened products found are gathered and burned the following morning. Number 3. Counting the omer. Beginning on the second day of Passover, Jews engage in the practice of counting the omer, which involves counting each of the 49 days leading up to the festival of Shavuot. This tradition commemorates the journey from Egypt to Mount Sinai, where the Israelites received the Torah. Number 4. Festive meals and gatherings. Throughout the 8 days of Passover, families gather for festive meals and celebrations, often inviting guests and welcoming strangers to their tables, in keeping with the spirit of hospitality and inclusiveness. Contemporary observances. Today, Passover continues to be celebrated by Jews worldwide, serving as a powerful reminder of their heritage and the values of freedom, perseverance, and faith. In addition to the Seder and dietary restrictions, many Jewish communities hold special synagogue services, engage in acts of charity, and host festive gatherings with family and friends. Passover is not only a commemoration of the past, but also a celebration of the present and a hopeful look towards the future. It encourages Jews to appreciate their freedom, empathize with those still oppressed, and work towards creating a world free from injustice and oppression. The holiday also serves as a reminder to welcome and support those in need, just as the Israelites were welcomed into the Promised Land after their arduous journey. That covers the rich history and traditions of the Jewish holiday of Passover. From Moses leading the Israelites out of slavery in Egypt, to the symbolism of the Seder plate and matzah, this ancient celebration is truly fascinating. I hope exploring Passover's origins and observances gave you a deeper appreciation for this important cultural event and the resilience of the Jewish people. If you enjoyed learning about Passover, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more insightful content. Let me know your thoughts on Passover in the comments. Stay curious and keep expanding your knowledge. Until next time, take care.